Hi everybody, welcome to Wool and Wine, episode 30. I'm Tammi.
I'm Claudia.
I'm Janet.
And welcome everybody who's out there viewing us. And if you're new to us, we're super happy to have you.
We are.
Yes, we are.
And today is the 21st of November, right here before Thanksgiving.
It's a Thanksgiving episode.
In the U.S., yeah.
Yeah, in the U.S.
And it's getting a little cooler here. We've had a nice warm spell, and now it's starting to get, cool and it's real rainy, and so it's really good sweater weather.
Yeah, and it's crazy. Claudia and I played golf last Monday.
I know.
And it was a
Beautiful
glorious
day.
Yeah, beautiful,
Yes.
sunshiny, chilly.
Yeah, but that's okay. I mean, I ended
upper
up taking
50s
my jacket
maybe?
off.
60?
Yeah, the sun was out. I took my jacket off.
Yeah.
And I just had a t-shirt on.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll have some more of those days.
I hope so.
I bet they're going to be few and further apart, but maybe we'll have some.
Yeah.
It would be really nice.
We played until mid-December a couple of years. So,
Yes,
hopefully that'll be this year.
Yeah.
So, anyway, before we get started, we'd like to toast all of our viewers.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, we just really want to taste the drink. That's taste the wine.
More to come at the end about that deliciousness.
Yes.
Wow.
Yum.
Okay, so we'll do our typical episode talking about what we're wearing. Oh, we're a knitting podcast. If we haven't,
I meant to say that. I forgot that.
So far, we've been a weather and a wine.
Yeah, but we are going to talk about knitting.
But yeah, we're all about knitting. So we'll talk about what we're wearing, anything we have finished, and whips and dream knitting, and potentially purchases, because there may be some.
Yes, there are some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No judging. Do you want to start with what you're wearing?
Sure. I am wearing the Chillum by Bonnie Dean. All right. And the yarn I use is Cascade Elysium in the colorway 50. It didn't have a name, so anyway, I wanted to, you saw that we had the video go, but I wanted to show you a close-up of the really beautiful, I can't get close enough, the net, and then it's also on the bottom. I tried to do it earlier, but and then in the back it has this cute little split.
That is adorable. Yep.
And this is one of my first sweaters, I think maybe second or third, so it's been a while. And I did see a notification from Bonnie that she's no longer doing knitting design or anything, because I think she has some problems with her hands because of probably arthritis. And so apparently this is now a free pattern, but she's not going to support it at all.
Wow.
You know what though? I don't feel like you needed support because you were such a newbie when you knit that.
Yeah.
And I think you really had all of it under control, even with this cute little split and the split in the back.
Yeah.
I think you were on it. So either the pattern was written really well.
Well, and there was a video that was a part of the pattern that showed you how to do this zigzag. And I think it's the coolest ever.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
It's really beautiful.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the video is still out there, right?
Oh, yeah, I bet it is.
bet, yeah.
I hope so, right?
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
So the yarn, and this was a worsted weight, and I don't know why I chose it, other than, I didn't really know what I was doing at the time, and I needed a worsted weight, and I like the color.
There, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, that's a lot of reason why I choose it. So what do I have in my stash? Although I did went out and buy this because I didn't have much of a stash
Back then, yeah, we were.
So,
I did, but you guys didn't.
Yeah.
No judging.
Yeah. So anyway, it was a very fun knit. So this little part here is all knit through the back stitch, so it's a twisted rib.
Oh,
like,
okay.
and yeah, there's really not that
beautiful.
many projects on Ravelry, which I kind of surprised. But
It's really cute. So maybe others will want to go out and grab it, especially with it being a free
pattern,
worsted weight pattern. I remember it
Right.
working up pretty quick.
It did
too.
work up pretty quick.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So that's what I'm wearing.
yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
I'm wearing I See Spring by Joji Locatelli. And this is, just give you a little idea what it looks like. We also have a video. But this was a sweater that I had knitted right before it got warm. So I never got to wear it. So I haven't worn it on the podcast. And it's just the best weather right now for this. It's just lovely. And the yarn that I'm using is Madeline Tosh Pashmina in the colorway Cherry.
Gorgeous.
And these are some colorful cherries.
They are.
They really are.
Very pink and purpley. So I made, I think it was 43 and a half inches on this one on the body, and I really like the fit of it. It's really nice. I did go ahead and helical knit it because it was hand dyed yarn, and it worked out beautifully. So I don't have any of the, pooling that we don't like to get, and so it just pretty much all was to pattern. I think I added a few more stitches on the arms because it was they're very fitting, and I wanted to make sure that they weren't going to be too small, so I added a few more stitches. But other than that, it's just a pattern, and I highly recommend it. Looks a beautiful pattern.
It is beautiful. It is. So who is this yarn by?
This was Madeline Tosh.
Madeline Tosh. Okay.
Yes.
That is really gorgeous.
It is.
And it feels really
they're
nice.
Yes, it has some cashmere in there. So
Yeah, that is
really
lovely.
a lovely yarn.
Yeah, gotta love that.
Yes.
Well, Tammy, and what are you wearing? We don't know.
Yeah. So this is the Field Sweater by Camilla Vod. And I knit this, so the body is Rowan felted tweed in the colorway clay, which is 177, and you can see all of these tweedy blue bits in there. And because I wanted to do the main body with the clay, I had some Zen Yarn Garden Serenity 20 in Tiger Eye, which is a very tonal blue. And I think you can tell because there are parts here that are very, very light. And up in the top part where all of the grains are, I held it with Lana Grossa Silkhair in the marine colorway. So it made it a little richer blue than it was initially. Mm-hmm. I love the color. This is an epic sweater. It actually surprisingly knit up pretty quickly, considering the woes. And I didn't talk about this the first time, but I knit the collar and was almost to the point where you start the color work. I think somewhere around row 24 or 25, so just a few rows before color work. And at that point in the pattern, this is not giving anything away because there's so much going on in the pattern that nobody would ever figure it out. She has you change your beginning around marker, moving it one stitch to the left. So you take it off, you slip a stitch to the right, you put it back on, and you keep going. And I used a marker between every repeat all the way around, and I put it down. I probably knit a few little sections and put it down, and I don't remember if we went away or whatever, but it was a while before I picked it back up and did several other things in between, and I thought I'd screwed it up. My count was off and I couldn't figure out what was wrong, and I read backwards, and I guess I missed the point where it said move your stitch or your beginning around marker. So I really thought I had done something terribly wrong, so I ripped all of that out, and I had this big pile of yarn barf because it's mohair with fingering, and I wasn't going to try to separate those two, nor was I going to try to wind them in a ball, because sometimes one winds more than the other. So as I ripped it, I just gently piled it, and I, as fast as I could, like within a few days, was able to knit that part back. But boy, oh boy. So note to self, and note to all of you who might be doing this, if you get to round 24 or 25, I can't remember exactly which one it is. Maybe 24 is where you move the marker, and 25 is where you're knitting the round after the marker's been moved. Do not lay your project down. Just finish those 2 rows, so you're not going to do what I did, because holy moly.
It's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. And it was hard on my hands just because the grains are so many stitches, and you're knitting, what, 3 together through the back loop sometimes, and
Yes.
then there were times where we were doing
4 and
was
5.
it 5
It's 4
even
and
for the
5
large
through the
grains?
back loop.
Yeah.
Yes.
Goodness.
So it was a lot of tense hand movement and shoving and all the things, but it turned out absolutely gorgeous. I love it. I knit the 41.7, and as much as I love it, I'm probably not going to knit another. I'll probably move on. And, you know, I mean, I wore this to a holiday party this past weekend and got many compliments on it, and a lot of the people didn't even know I'm a knitter, so that was kind of cool, you know. Gorgeous sweater, and I'm like, oh, thanks. And the ones that I know really well, I said, oh, I knit it.
Yeah.
And then they couldn't believe it, and it got, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So
very beautiful.
It is.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, your colors are perfect. I love this.
That Rowan felted tweed, yeah. When I blocked it, the sleeves were like way down in the middle of my hand, and after I wore it on Saturday, they shrunk back up to where they should be, like bracelet length, which is kind of what I love. So it's just right. So we should probably move on to finishes.
What I have finished. I do have a finish today. I made the hat, a pollen hat by Andrea Mowry. And the yarn I used is the Marisol Hooney in the colorway Malachite. Anyway, here's the hat.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It's just a lot of slip stitches, and I knit the size adult small because her pattern has children's sizes. So if you're ever decide to do it for your
grandbaby,
grandbaby, yeah. So I'll go ahead and, you know, it was supposed to be like an 18 width, which I think is kind of, well, okay, my hair doesn't look so great with it.
It actually looks cute.
It does.
So there we go.
There you go. Yeah, that's cute.
Anyway, it fits perfect. I like it to be a little bit snug because if it's too big, I feel like it's going to fall off any minute. So
Yeah.
anyway, and then this is the yarn, the Marisol Hooney, and the reason I use this is because I had it in my stash. So I need it, and this is worsted weight. That's the same as this. So anyway, yeah, let's see. Can you see the beginning around? I think I can see it right here, but it's not.
Barely.
No,
not
it's not
easy to
noticeable.
see.
No, you can't even. You really would have to look at it hard to see that.
Yeah, right. So that's my one and only finish.
So you've mentioned the yarn that you used and why you used it a couple of times. We had a viewer ask if we could talk about that a little bit. And so for this hat, you said the pattern called for worsted weight. And so what did you do? Just go to your stash and see
Yes.
what your choices were in worsted weight? Was there any particular quality in the yarn that she used in the original pattern that drew you to the Hoonie?
No,
No.
because I didn't even look to see what yarn she used.
Yeah.
Well, I did see what yarn she used, but I didn't look it up as far as
The
what
content, yeah.
characteristics that had. I have so much yarn that I just have to go into my stash and pull something out because I just don't feel like I want to go out and buy any more yarn right now.
Right. Well, she uses a lot of, spin cycle.
Yeah.
And a lot of pricier yarns. So,
Yeah. I mean, this is 100% wool. It doesn't say anything else. It just says 100% wool. It's made in Peru, but other than that, that's all it says.
probably Peruvian Highland.
Yeah.
Oh, it is fine Peruvian Highland wool. Right on the front in teeny print.
Yes.
But yeah, so anyway, do you have a finish?
Yes, I have a few finishes. The first finish I have is the Spa Day Face Cloth by Anne Mancini, which is a free pattern. And here's the yarn that I used for that. Show you what the label looks like. It's the Lily Sugar and Cream in the Ombre collection. And here's what the yarn looks like. It's got little specks in it. And I was on a trip with my sister and my brother. We did our annual sibling vacation in Gatlinburg. And she was telling me my sister had a friend that really wanted a face cloth. She loves the cotton and all of that. So I told her I'd make her one while she was in town. And so I gifted it to her, which she gifted to her friend. So it's lovely cotton, the sugar and cream, and her friend seemed to really enjoy it.
You have a picture, right?
Yes.
Oh, and you'll send it to me?
Of course I will.
So it's right here. Right?
That's right.
Right.
It did just come out of cyber.
It did, yeah. It's like,
No, all of our
magic.
pictures come out of cyber.
Yes.
Right, we talked about that beforehand. But it was easier just to insert it there
Yeah.
when she was talking about it. Yeah. That is so cool. So did she give it to her friend yet?
Yes, she did, and she was very happy with it.
Oh, good.
Cool.
So
Yeah, that 100% cotton is so good. That's what I've made a bunch of dishcloths with.
right. I just love dishcloths, and I know I'm going to be gifting some more. So and maybe even making more for myself because I just love them. I really do.
Yeah, they're pretty great.
So they are.
Okay, so I have a finish. It's the August hat by Sarah Solomon. She's also known as Into the Wool. We had a little dilemma trying to figure out whether I had already shown this on the podcast before. It wasn't in the show notes that I had written. So here's the hat. And if you've already seen it, I apologize. But it's super cute. I think maybe it was a whip last time. And I'll show the little label. They all have one of those that says Knit by Tambra. I have several different styles of label, and the wraparound ones like that I like best for hats. So this was knit in Stonehedge fiber mill shepherd's wool worsted. Whew, mouthful. And the colorway is lilac, of course. I mean, it's like so gorgeous. And the color work, so what looks like white here is actually Patons Classic Wool DK. And it's a superwash in the color, it's a gray colorway, so it's just very like a pale gray. I almost would call it more of a pale stone color because it's kind of more grayish. But I held it with Drops Kidsilk mohair in white, and I think it really looks almost like a bright white. So anyway, that is going to be a gift knit for someone this holiday season, and I'm really happy to have done it, and I'm happy to have it done.
Yeah.
I love the look of the Latvian braid. I just think that is so gorgeous. I think you probably could see it. Yeah, there you go. Nice close up. But your yarn gets incredibly twisted while you're doing the first round, and then when you do the second round, it untwists. But boy, it does take some management to keep the twist down far enough that you can. I've used my foot and pushed out on the twist as it starts and all kinds of things just to keep it away from where you're knitting, because it gets all wound up close and it becomes a nightmare. So anyway, it's a gorgeous end result.
It is. It's beautiful.
Yeah. So do you have another finish?
I do not.
Okay, you have another finish.
I do.
I thought so.
So my next finish is the Wilfrida by Venki Ruwald. And here it is. So I'm really pleased with it. I made it a little shorter. Once I tried it on, it was a little shorter than my normal sweater length. So, but I really like it. And the yarn that I used was the Brooklyn Tweed Arbor in the colorway Mesa. And I had a couple of cones that I used for this, and they were 660 yards each. So I used one, and then I used a little bit of the next one. So I've used approximately 725 yards to make this entire sweater. So it's really nice. It reminds me a lot of the ranunculus. It's got a little bit of a pattern at the top, and it goes really fast. It was a size 10 needle, US 10. And, you know, it's a real nice gauge. I think it's a 16 gauge. Goes fast, and you don't use a lot of yarn. Yeah, you don't use a lot of yarn. This was size, I think, the medium. Somewhere in there. Like the second or third size. So, and there's plenty of sizes. So,
Very pretty.
Yeah.
you're thinking of what to make that goes kind of quick. Here's a really good one.
I like that.
Yeah.
Quick.
So is twisted rib in the pattern?
Yes.
That's really pretty.
So the hem is a twisted rib. Both the hem and the cuffs are twisted rib. So
Yeah, that's really, really nice.
yes.
I don't think it's getting as much traction as it should because it's just so nice. So why did you pick that yarn?
The first reason I picked it was because the pattern on the pattern page, she had it in an orange color, and this is a little more of a rusty, but I really like the orange, and I had this beautiful yarn in my stash, and I thought, oh, this would go really. I mean, this is similar. It's a little more dark orange, but to me, it's an orange brown.
And the weight
So-
was right, and you got gauge, right?
Right. All the things. So,
Yeah, on that note, sometimes when we knit stuff, you know, we're picking yarn, and the pattern may call for worsted and a 20 gauge, and I look, well, 20 gauge, I can use DK.
Yeah.
yes.
You know, so
Right.
Right.
So, yeah, this is a DK weight on this. And I think the pattern's DK as well. But you could probably use worsted as well, since it's a 20 gauge.
Right.
I'm not sure, but I'm not sure what the gauge is on this, but
Oh, I bet it's
Anyway.
I bet it's a bigger gauge than that if you used a 10.
Yeah, right. I think it was a 16 gauge.
Yay.
So,
Gotta
Nice.
love
Love it.
that.
Yeah. Nice bassinet.
yes.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Okay, so I have a couple more finishes. You have at least one more, right?
Correct.
Okay, so I did a test knit. These are the Regis, no, there's no T. Regis Mitts by Valerie Hobbs, and she's also known as Laughingstar. And so I have tested for her before, and she sent out a call for testers. She has the Regis hat, cowl, and mitts. And so I offered to knit the mitts for her. So these are the size small. They're a little snug on me. This is a 7-inch. I probably, for comfort, would need the 7.5. But
Those
aren't
are
they
adorable.
beautiful?
They are.
Wow.
Yeah, so the detail on here is just exquisite. She always writes these beautiful patterns.
What weight yarn
This is a fingering weight yarn, and I used Expression Fiber Arts Sincere Sock, and this came in one of Shandy's bundles. I want to say that I bought a bag of fingering weights. So they came together, and there was a label that had like 1,000 and some odd yards. It might have been one of her fade sets. And when she does that, sometimes the colorways are made specifically for that, so they don't actually have a name. So I just call it blue. It is a nice tonal blue, and it's just really nice. So that also is a gift knit.
pretty.
Yeah, it's really a gorgeous pattern. I'm trying to figure out where I am with some of the knits that I'm working on, because like I said, she's got a hat and a cowl that are equally as gorgeous. So I may, if I've got time, I may knit the hat, and I need to look at the yardage requirements for that, because if I knit the hat, I'd really love for it to match the mitts. And I know I weighed those, and it's on my pattern page, which, we're talking about all this stuff. All the details of what we're talking about today will be in the show notes, and that's someplace you click on the more button below, and then all of the show notes come up on the right hand side if you're on a laptop or an iPad or a phone. If you're on a TV, I have no idea where you go to get that.
Yeah, I haven't figured that one out.
But yeah, the show notes are all right there. So anyway, we also have our Ravelry names in the show notes, and you'll be able to find us and all the details on our Ravelry pages there. So you have one more?
I do.
Okay.
I finished the Chunky Basket Weave Baby Blanket. And here,
Wow.
It's a rather
look at that.
very,
Beautiful.
very big size. I think it'll
Perfect.
Yeah.
it'll go in that crib beautifully.
Oh yeah, it will.
That's gorgeous.
So, show you up close what the basket weave looks like. So,
Was that a free pattern?
this is a free pattern, and it's by Peach Unicorn. And the yarn that I used is it's called Bernat Baby Blanket, and the colorway is blue. So, but it's a fun, a little bit hard on the hands because I used a size 11 needle, and it's a chunky yarn. So it's a little hard on the hands, so I can only do it for so long, and then I stop. and work on something else. But it did go rather fast. So, and it's 100% polyester, so it can go in the wash.
Yep, washer and dryer.
Yes. So
Perfect.
Yeah, I know, right?
Perfect.
yes.
It's almost like a velour. It's got this center
Yeah.
cord, and then it's almost like a velour that's wrapped around it somehow, or the cord is wrapped around the velour. It's very squishy
It's
and
very squishy, soft. It reminds me of chenille.
chenille,
Oh,
like the
yes,
old chenille
the old
bed
it
spreads.
does,
Yeah.
yeah.
Very similar to that.
Yeah. Okay, so I do have one more, and this is, I'm calling it the Selbu hat. It's self-drafted, so there is no pattern for this. I will tell you, I started to knit a different hat, and I cast on 100 stitches. And I'm using, I'll talk about that too, it's Knit Picks Wool of the Andes, and I'm using Sapphire Heather. And then the color work part is exactly the same yarn as I used in the August hat. So that Patons Classic Wool along with the mohair. So that was Drops Kidsilk. But I cast on 100 stitches and started doing this other pattern, and when I say started doing it, I was knitting the rib, and I kept looking at the pattern. I'm like, that's going to be boring to knit. And if it's boring to knit, it's going to be boring to wear too, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's what I thought. So it almost matches my shirt. Mm-hmm. So I started looking around. I decided I wanted to do color work. So here is the crown, which I think is just gorgeous. And then I found a free pattern, and I need to find it again so I can reference it in my Ravelry page to give credit to whoever wrote the free pattern. Hers was an 88 stitch. It had other things between the Selbu flowers, and what I really did was extracted this one Selbu pattern out of it, because I could break that one down to be 21 stitches. 20 stitches, including one extra in between. See how there's like one navy stitch in between each one of the patterns that runs from top to bottom. Anyway, I was able to break it down and utilize it on my 100 stitch hat, because I had already knit the ribbing and folded it under and picked up the stitches, and I wasn't going to tear that out and start over to knit the entirely free hat. But I actually liked my way of doing the decreases even better than the free hat had, and the whole thing together is certainly better than what I started with that was boring. So again, another gift knit.
So that's a beautiful.
So just tiny. It's
Yes.
not, I asked Rick, I'm like, oh, this is so soft, right? And he goes, nope.
So he didn't like it.
He didn't think it was soft. I haven't blocked it. So Wool of the Andes is kind of a rustic yarn, but man, it's going to be warm.
Yeah, it is.
And somebody
Yeah,
that
it's
has
very
to walk from a parking lot into the building at work,
They may like it.
they're going to think that that's really, really great. So I guess it's time to move on to whips, because I know you've got whips. I know you're working on stuff.
Yeah. Sorry, I seem a little
all have that.
exhausted. I'm on Sleeve Island with everything, it seems like.
Yeah.
And so this is a Robinia by Ann Wenzel. And I am knitting the 120 centimeter, which I think turns out to be like a 48 or 49. And yes, I have yarn everywhere.
Oh, wow.
And so the body's finished, and I am working on the sleeve.
Oh my gosh.
Wow, that is beautiful.
Oh, Claudia, that's gorgeous.
So I was working on this. So last night we had a power outage, and I volunteered a senior center, and I was driving the van all day, And I was so looking forward to going home, turn the TV on, and put a fire in the fireplace, have a drink, and just sit in it and watch TV. 5:30, power goes out. Jeez. And I'm like, because I'm sitting back, feet up, I'm knitting away, and I'm like, oh shoot.
And so on the East Coast at 5:30, at least in Ohio where we are, it's pretty dark.
It's pretty dark.
You need lights on. You can't.
Yes.
You can't knit.
So I
at
put
that
the
point.
knitting down, and I'm like, thinking, oh, it's not going to be off for very long. It was off until almost 10 p.m. But at one point, I gave up, went into the garage, popped my door open. I went over to Panera, and I sat and had a salad, and then I knit a little bit on this. And so I got maybe one repeat finished.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. So, and then I went home. I guess it was about 8:30, 8:45, and the lights were still out. And so I had, when I was at Panera, I used their Wi-Fi, and I downloaded some stuff off the internet so I could watch TV and sit in bed and knit.
Do you have one of those neck lamps?
Yes, I
Good.
do.
Yeah, because those things are so good.
Yeah. But by the time I got settled in bed, the lights came on.
Of course.
So I got up and out. It's like, oh my
that's
God. Yeah. So anyway, I did make some progress.
It's beautiful.
And sorry, that long story.
No, that's a good story.
Anyway, I'm making real progress, and I tried it on today, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait to get this done. So I've been really kind of spending more time on this than I have anything else for a little while, because I love it so much. And the yarn that I am using is the Cascade REO Tweed in the colorway navy, and it definitely has some speckles in it. And super soft. I mean, talk about squishy. Mm-hmm. And then the Isagar, in the colorway 6S, it's the Eco Soft, and that's one of them that she used in the pattern. So I did use that, and I wanted to add a little extra color, so I'm using the Pearl Soho Tussock Mohair in the colorway Tea Rose. And so the two of them, it just gives it a slight peachy.
Yeah, it just adds a bit of blush
to it. And because when I first did my sample, I wasn't happy with just this by itself. So
right. On the camera, it looks very navy and white, but in person, in real life, it's very
maybe if I get
much
close. Yeah, I don't know if that shows up but anyway.
It's gorgeous.
It is.
Yeah, I can't wait. I really can't. I'm so excited about this one. And this is knitting up really fast too.
Yeah.
What size needle do you use on that one?
I'm using an 8, and I think it's 16 stitch gauge.
Okay, that's the same gauge.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's the same as the Wilfrida.
Yeah. So, yeah, and it's up really fast. And I'm not getting bored with it. That's part of.
Well, you're doing color work. I mean, you did color work flat on the body until you joined under the arms, right?
Yeah. And this is interesting too on the sleeves. So, because there were no short rows on the body, but on the sleeves there are short rows, and I think that's to give it give it some shape.
Are they out here on this outside part? Yeah, that makes sense. I think Rebecca Clow did that on her Kerr that has a stripe. It could either be a narrow or a wide band of color work across the chest. And in order to get that color work to drop down and line up with the stripe, she did short rows. And I think I haven't bought the pattern yet.
We're guessing.
Very, very close. But no, I heard someone who was knitting it talk about how clever it is to add the short rows on a drop shoulder so that it brings the stitches down to being parallel with the body. instead of them just going straight out, you know,
Yeah.
from the cast on. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's really beautiful.
Yeah.
I bet you have that done next time.
I probably will.
Provided the electric doesn't go off.
Yeah, provided electric doesn't go out again. So I don't know that they ever figured out why it went out. One of my neighbors emailed another neighbor and said, "I think it was me. I was using my crock pot."
No. You're in trouble on Thanksgiving if a crock pot did it.
No, right?
Yeah.
Seriously. Okay, so do you have a whip?
So my first whip, I've been making some progress, is the Solare by Hohi Locatelli.
Ooh.
And
Wow.
Oh, wow.
You are making progress. That's beautiful.
I've got the body completed on this.
Oh, it is.
I love it.
And where I was the last time
I
was
haven't
way
seen
up
yarn.
here. So I've done all the way to the hem. So I'm ready to start on the sleeves. And love this pattern.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
So the yarns that I'm using is the first one is the Brooklyn Tweed Arbor and the colorway Rainier. And I'm using the Hobie. This is the Hobie Soft Alpaca
Yeah. Lace.
lace in colorway Sage Melange. And here's what the tag looks like.
You can hear the heat
So-
when it kicks on.
yeah.
I'm not down here that much, and I didn't realize. I hope that that's not distracting to anybody out there.
That is
So
gorgeous.
it's just a matter of getting these sleeves done. So now I'm just
Sleeve
on
Island.
Sleeve Island, just like Claudia.
And
Got some
so-
sleeves
That
to do.
the lace that you use, it just gives it some real
Depth.
interest
Some depth.
and depth.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, some depth to the color.
And it makes it. This is softer than your other other.
Yeah, the Wilfrida,
Yeah.
which I've used the same Brooklyn Tweed Arbor in a different colorway.
One. Okay, so I have a question about
So-
the yarn. Arbor is still sold by Brooklyn Tweed. It's just not sold on a cone.
Correct.
It's in a hank now.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, 50-gram hanks. And this is okay, so this sweater is a worsted weight pattern. So I took a DK weight Brooklyn Tweed Arbor and then put a lace weight with it to make this the DK or worsted
to
get my gauge in a worsted weight.
Beautiful.
So it's just, I highly recommend this pattern. It's just gorgeous.
So we all have a bunch of that Hobie yarn because it is so beneficial to add a little depth to the color or to make a color that's not quite right a better brighter or a better softer or something.
Yeah.
And in this case, it helped you get gauge and it softened up that rustic yarn. But oh my
Very
goodness.
pretty.
Yeah.
Love it.
Very.
That is really good. So
Very
is this where
pretty.
you were last time you showed it?
Right. So that's where I was last time. So I've, finished the sweater.
Wow, you've made a lot of progress.
So, yeah.
That's cool.
That is really good.
Yes.
Okay, so I have got another self-drafted pattern. It's the ruffled top-down socks. And when I say self-drafted, there's nothing to it. I'm not going to be designing, so
You just modify
that's
patterns.
so with socks, there's vanilla socks, and I finished one of them. So here is the first finished sock. I used 3 different YouTube videos to assist me in this sock. So first of all, I saw Pia of what used to be 50 Fabulous, and now she has changed her name because she just had a birthday and she's no longer 50 Fabulous. She is
60 Fabulous.
No, but that's not her. I'm sorry, Pia. I'm gonna have to, because we mentioned you, I'll put it in as another mention in our show notes so that you know what her new podcast. You can still, her podcast with the new name still pops up under 50 Fabulous. But anyway, she was doing a pair of socks and they had this Pico edge on them, and that is just so stinking cute. Well, that's the cast on, and I was telling the girls, and I think I mentioned last time, when you cast this on, it's like this long. And then, you know, the first thing you do is knit that on, you know, it's 64 stitches, so once you put it on a 9-inch circ, it's good again. So the cast on link is on my Ravelry page. The Shadow Wrap Heel is also a YouTube video that I've linked to on my Ravelry page. And then I did the umbrella toe this time, and that also is on my Ravelry page. I don't like the wedge toe. I feel like it just goes like, my foot's not shaped like a wedge. I don't know. Yeah. But anyway, I started the second one.
Beautiful.
And yeah, it's really kind of cute, right?
Really adorable.
So cute.
So I have the, I'm down past the heel and I'm a little more than 10 stitches. So these stitch markers are on here to tell me every 10 stitches, or every 10 rows, I mean, I put one on, and that way I can make the socks match. So I just have started down the foot on this and have 12, and I always attach the right number of stitch markers that I'm going to need to use on that one. But the yarn, do you have a question?
Yes.
Okay.
So you're not decreasing or anything with the stitch markers? That just shows you how long the...
Yeah, I'm just using
from
that
there
to
to
count
there.
rows
Okay.
because the stitches are so stinking tiny on here. I think the gauge is 30 something. And it's really even hard to count rows.
Yeah, I bet.
Yes,
I really,
I bet it is,
it's a challenge. So I count 10 and put a marker, so I don't have to count those 10 again.
Yeah, that's smart, right?
Yeah, so the yarn I'm using, I showed this before, but I'll go ahead just in case we have some new viewers. I was actually texting with somebody this morning on Instagram that had just found us. And hi Joe, if you're watching. But so I know that we have some new viewers out there. So these are the 2 yarns that I'm using. And the speckled one is the Schackenmeyer Regia 4-ply. And it really, I don't think it has a colorway. It's 05062, but I would call it confetti if I had to give it a name. And it's got all these beautiful colors. And then the peach is the Millimia from Sweden. And it's just a very rustic, 75% wool, 25% polyamide. So that's a high polyamide content, which is really good for the heels and toes. So anyway, I have a lot of small projects this time. So lots of finishes, lots of whips, because tiny things that I'm just trying to get done.
For
This is-
Christmas.
So fun.
This one is mine.
They look kind of big. I think I need them.
You'd be surprised. They're actually stinking small. Like, they just fit me.
Wow.
So, yeah. Not small.
Darn it. I was hoping.
I know. I did a test knit a while back, and the socks were just gorgeous, but they were too tight for me. So I gave them to Janet when I was done.
They fit me beautifully.
Yeah.
Love them.
I'm still waiting for her to make something that's too big. Because my feet are huge.
Well, they're only one size bigger than mine. So.
So I do have another whip. And I'm actually pretty proud of myself, well, even though it's almost been a year. So I have the body finished on my Cartwright. I don't think I showed it with the shoulders finished last time or anything, but yeah, oh, that's right. We were debating. I added an extra inch on the front, or 1.5 inches on the front, because I didn't like it wasn't enough of this. It was, anyway. Anyway, so this is the Cartwright by Jenny Atkinson. And this is a size 49 that I'm knitting, and it's in the Cascade 220 fingering, and there's 4 colorways. There's silver, white, charcoal, and lemon. And you guys are probably getting tired of hearing about this.
I bet they're not. It's so beautiful.
Here we go.
We're getting tired of it.
It is so beautiful.
It is, and I really like the fit. I have tried it on. I haven't blocked it yet, so I'm pretty sure some of this is gonna like stretch out. And
Oh, yeah.
all, but anyway, yes, it's yeah, I love it. I absolutely love this too.
It would make
Yes.
a great vest.
It would. I know it would. I thought about that, but no, it's got to be a sweater.
Right.
So I got to do sleeves.
Sleeve Island. You're right there with me.
I am on Sleeve Island in a major way. So maybe I'll have this done by February, which will make a year.
Yes.
Well, you have to get snowed in to really, without losing power.
Well, yeah, right. I know. Yeah, that was
You know
so
what?
surprising.
Keep your neck lamp charged. Just make a habit. Like keep it out so you can always charge it as soon as you're done with it.
Yeah, and so also I have this other thing that sorry, that's a diversion, but I bought these little lamps that I saw, and they're like this big around, maybe 4 inches or so, and they're maybe 8 inches tall, rechargeable.
They're for camping or something.
Or you could just put it for ambiance or whatever,
Oh,
because it's a
cool.
very soft light. And so I ended up carrying it around the house last night. It was great.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, so the next challenge is starting sleeves, and the pattern calls to do that flat also, but I'm going to do them in the round until I get up to the point where they, connect. Separate, yeah. So
where you shape the
shape, the shaping. So that's going to be another adventure. I've never done sleeves separate. I've always done sleeves where you pick up stitches. So
You're gonna do 2 at a time?
I thought about it, but then I got to thinking about, I don't know. I mean, I don't know, with the color work and stuff. I think I might do up to here and then maybe do 2 of these the same, and then, because this is just trying to make sure that they match.
Yeah.
Lengthwise, but here it's very specific. So I don't know. I haven't decided yet.
What size needle are you using?
A 3. Which, if you know me, I like big needle.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Because
right.
it goes
That's
faster.
So what yarn did she use? Do you remember on her original pattern?
I don't know.
It was fingering weight something, I'm sure.
Yeah,
right?
it was
Light
fingering. It was fingering, but I don't remember what type of yarn she used. I looked it up, but
That reminds me so much. The look of it reminds me of Super Soft. Just because it's so, it's 100% wool, and it's a very light fingering.
it is a light fingering, but
It's
working.
a lot softer than the Super Soft.
It is, and I suspect after I block, it's going to be even much more soft. So, yeah. So, stay tuned.
Yeah.
It's been a labor of love, and it's funny because I enjoyed doing this just because it's like a 28 gauge or something like that, and so it's just I knew it was going to take me a while. And so I decided I'm not putting pressure on myself. I'll just pick it up every now and then. And it's such a pretty sweater. It's really kept me motivated until I got to the sleeves.
Yeah. All right, I get that totally. So you have more whips?
I do. So the next one I have is the Field Sweater by Camilla Vaude.
Ooh,
And as you saw, Tammy had hers completed. Mine is still in progress.
Oh, but look at that.
However, I have got my body completed on this. So here's where I was. And as you can see, I got the body done. So, once again, Sleeve Island on this sweater. But I'm really, another pattern I'm very anxious to get done.
Yeah,
Because
that's
it's so pretty.
motivating. Yeah,
So pretty.
Oh, yeah, it's gorgeous.
Oh, look how pretty we would
So-
look side by side with
Right?
them on. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yes, she was. Look at that.
We're twinsies.
You twinsies, so cute.
So the yarns that I'm using, let's get them out. Okay, so for the top part, I'm using the Drops Alpaca in colorway Chestnut, I think. It's 618. And then Barocco Aerial. And the colorway on this is 3433, which is copper. So these two together on the top. And then I'm using this City Tweed from Knit Picks. And that's a DK weight also. And the colorway is Snowbank.
I like it.
And it has a lot of dirt in it.
Yeah, that would be some really dirty snow.
Really black and brown specks throughout.
It's
Which
gorgeous.
you can see
though.
better on
It
the
is. I
sweater
could
itself.
see.
But
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
so yeah, getting really anxious. Got that top part done, got the body. So now it's Sleeve Island for the second sweater.
Oh, goodness gracious. Okay,
Yes.
so is that all you have on that one?
Yes.
You know,
Okay.
Did you see what she's wearing on her wrist?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the little bracelet from our viewer Annie.
Yes.
So
Looks
cute.
beautiful.
Looks really pretty with my sweater today.
Yes, it does. Okay, so my next whip is the Wildwood Sweater by Heidi May. And I have done a little more on it. We're coming along. I did pick up stitches for the sleeve, so there's a little sleeve island going on here too. I figure I'm about a third of the way done. So you've seen this before. Oh, look at that
Isn't
color work.
gorgeous?
So this is knit in Stephen West's West Wool, and it's the tandem, so this is the DK, and the colorway are brackish for the darker teal and glass for the pale color. And this yarn, unblocked, is rustic, and
Yeah, it is.
the stitches feel open. Blocked, because I did block the top part, there's almost a distinct line about right here where you can see where I blocked the body and definitely feel the difference. But this Wildwood sweater, I've had my eyes on this thing for a couple of years. I just love the pattern. And I got really good row gauge. So my row gauge might be a little shorter than what the designer's was, because I noticed on hers that her armpits, like the sleeve separation, was really low. And I was concerned about that, but as I got knitting, I kept measuring like how far I was into the chart and how much further I had to go, and then what I needed, you know, from my neckline down to armpit. And I ended up doing several rows before sleeve separation, so that was really good on me. Because I would have been disappointed if I had like really low sleeves. But anyway, I picked this up when I only want round and round stockinette, so there's some other things that have my attention right now. So, all right. Do you have another whip?
I do.
Okay.
Another sleeve island. This is the Souk Moon by Agionet. And I am knitting the size 46. And it's, surprise, surprise, I have another sleeve.
Oh my gosh, look how cute that looks as a puff short sleeve.
It is really
Yes.
You're kind of stuck in
Oops, sorry.
here. No, I pulled it
Yeah.
out of your bag a little bit.
Okay,
so you
so
could hold it up.
there you go. That's how it is. And I just been working away on the sleeve. Well, not so much because I'm working on the other sleeve more.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, I can't believe Sleeve Island.
You and I are gonna be having fun knitting our sleeves.
I know. We should have sleeve knitting day or something.
Yes.
But the yarn that I'm using is the Juniper Moon Patagonia Organic Merino in the colorway Anthracite. And then I am holding that with the Drops Kidsilk colorway Blue Wind. And man, I'll tell you what, I love the combination. I was playing around in my stash and I saw these two yarns, like, I wonder how they'll look together. Well, now you know.
Yeah. Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Your color choices make me want to knit that.
Yeah, well, you have beautiful color choices, I'm sure, in your stash somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I blocked the body, and I'm just amazed. You know, it's amazing what blocking does. It's just so soft. It softens it so much.
It is just so beautiful. So
Thank
it's
you.
interesting how non-see-through that color choices,
Right.
because you're holding that with the wool, the mohair with the wool, but then you do some rows that have not, it's just mohair.
It's just the mohair,
But you
yeah.
can't even, I mean, you can see your hand when you hold it up to it, but wearing it, I know that you can't see through it at all. That is just so beautiful. It's such a dressy, classy
It
looking.
is.
It really is.
Oh my gosh, that would be such a good party sweater.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I'm not guaranteeing it'll be done by next time, but I have some work to do. And in the meantime, whatever else I had going is just gonna have to sit and wait.
Yeah, well, the way you've got this gathered on the cord, that would be such a cute short sleeve sweater.
Could be, yeah.
Isn't that adorable? Mm-hmm. It looks like it's all gathered in right above the elbow. That is
Yeah.
really cute.
Yeah, so, and no modifications. I did have to rip back on one of my sleeves because it's 4 stitch, 2 stitches, and I did a 5 stitch several times. But anyway.
Oh, you did rip that back? Because you're like, can you see it? And I'm like, no, yes, it's right there.
No, that was the second time.
Oh, okay.
And that's still there, but I can't really. It's
no,
not.
you really
it's
can't.
really not
no.
obvious.
She's talking about rows. You don't want to give too much away, but you do a number of rows with the wool and mohair, and then you do a number of rows with just the mohair. And she did too many rows with both.
Holding them together, yeah. I did that a couple times. So, yeah, I think because it's on the sleeve. You know, it goes so fast that, anyway.
So do you have another
I do
whip?
have another whip.
Okay.
Is this a sleeves too?
No. This is the Steam Valley by Anna Dervaux.
Oh.
And it's the lady size because there's also one for children. And I've made some progress on this.
What? Yeah, you did.
So this is the neckline.
So
Fun.
So the yarns I'm using, I've got the Knit Picks Upcycle Alpaca. Should have a tag in here somewhere to show you. Here it is. The Upcycle Alpaca Blend in worsted. And here's what that looks like. And then for the colorwork sections, I've got some leftovers of the wool of the Andes in these 3 colors. And we've got the amethyst heather, the sapphire heather, and the white.
That is beautiful. I can't believe
So
made
I've
some
been
progress.
busy making some progress on this.
So how do you feel about
Then
it?
I noticed that I made a happy little accident.
You like it?
Yeah, so this section here that I have in blue was really the section I was going to do in purple. So it's in blue. So anyway, I think it's going to be pretty anyhow.
Oh,
and then the
yeah.
next section, the top and the bottom are just going to be in the purple. And then in the middle, it's all going to be the white and the blue.
But that'll be pretty.
Yeah.
So the funny thing about it is, in the pattern, it has blue, white, and yellow. And so when I was working on the blue section, it was blue in the pattern.
Oh, right.
Even though that was supposed to be the purple, I was like, it's the blue. So then I did blue. So whatever. I'm happy. It's going to be pretty.
It looks good.
It is. Yeah, it's going to be
And-
really pretty. It's very
Yeah.
low contrast, but it's such rich colors.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how well you can see it on the screen, but in real life, you can clearly
it
see.
it showed up really well. I
Yeah.
thought on the
good.
in the camera.
Good.
Excellent.
So.
Nice.
Yeah. So I finished a couple things. So then of course, I had to cast on something new. So when I don't want to work on sleeves, I can work on this.
That's good. That's good.
That is
So.
really great. Okay,
Yes.
so Claudia showed the Robinia, and I had bought some Drops Wish that I really wanted to make the Robinia with. And when I cast it on and started knitting, I think I showed it to everybody a couple episodes or so ago. Two
It's
or
been a
three.
while, yeah.
Yeah. And I ripped it out because it just felt like I was knitting body armor. It was just too, I wanted it to be more flowy. I needed it to be a lighter weight yarn, even though that was the weight of yarn it called for, but my gauge just was spot on, but it was too thick.
Too dense.
So I've been looking for something to use that yarn on, and here is the Drops Wish. This is the color. It's beautiful. It's tobacco. And I bought a lot of this. And the thing is, I didn't even buy it for the Robinia. I bought it on Etsy to do a test knit sometime back, like last winter, maybe about this time, early winter, midwinter. And it didn't come in time for me to start the test knit, so I held 2 other red yarns together and knit this gorgeous cabled sweater. So it was originally for that, didn't happen. Was going to use it on the Robinia, didn't happen. So now I have decided to knit the Home Cardigan by Kadri. And so these guys haven't seen it, but listen to them.
Oh my god.
Wow. Knit the whole sweater.
Yeah, she's done. Oh.
I'm not done, but I'm almost. So I have the body finished.
So it looks like you have
and
sleeves.
I'm working on the button band now.
Oh, beautiful.
So I've picked up, this would make the best vest, and I'm not sure. So I bought a silk blouse that's almost this color. And
so you might make it a vest.
I may make it a vest. I may pick up stitches around the sleeves and then just knit a couple rows of ribbing and see how I like it. Bind it off and see, because no harm, no foul. If I don't like the way it looks, I just rip it out and pick up stitches again and knit a sleeve.
Yeah.
But I think that it would look super cute as a vest. Now, I did do a modification, and I don't know if any of you have done this, the home cardigan, but when I put it on, so she does these beautiful short rows when you pick up, so you start with the back, and then you pick up the front, and there are some short rows that bring this part down. And it's probably to cover, instead of it being at an angle, it brings it down so it's coming straight across. But there are no short rows in the back. So I kept trying it on to see, I wanted it a certain length because of, planning it to where I've got a cream colored silk blouse that it would look great over, a black one, and then one this color, and not to mention all the other like denim shirts and all that would look really cute. But I kept trying it on, and the back of it seemed like it was really high. So when I did the ribbing, I ended up doing short rows in the ribbing itself. So starting straight down underneath of both of those center armpits, I, in pattern, went down, I put markers in, of course, went down and back, and then down to 4 stitches before, and back to 4 stitches before, and I did that one time, so it added about an inch more on the back. I don't know if you can, I can't get it lined up just right. From the back center to the front. Yeah, maybe 3/4 of an inch. But I'll see if I can get it up here so you can see the difference. So if I line those up, the back is now this much longer. And it makes it doesn't slope, it just makes it really straight across the back. So I'm really kind of excited about this. The Drops Wish is perfect for this. I think it might be outerwear. It's very, I've got cables still in my the ribbing for the button band. So it's making it a little bit firm there, but I think it's drapey enough that it's going to be really wonderful. And
yeah, I think it's going to be good too, because I think it's going to has more structure.
Yeah.
Because when I made it, I used a yarn and I held it with mohair, but it has more.
It's very drapey.
It's very drapey, and I think more structure is better.
Yeah. So this is the Drops Wish. If you haven't used it, this is baby alpaca, Pima cotton, and merino. And where does it tell the percentage? Oh, here it is. It's 50% alpaca, 33% cotton, and 17% wool. So I feel like that 33% cotton is actually, this is a blown yarn. And I'll tell you what, that's spit spliceable. I have not, there, you will see no ends on the inside except under the arms where you knit down. And I left these tails because I'm going to spit splice these when I pick up stitches. I won't even be weaving those in. And this is from
when you sewed the seat.
Oh, right. No, you
picked it up. Yeah.
She's got a really unique way on the second. I don't have one on the first shoulder, but on the second one, you do a long tail and you start picking up from the short end. So you're working out on the tail. You did that too. You just may not remember.
I
but
don't
it's,
remember. It's been
It's
a
a
while.
really it was a cool way. She's got a little video in the pattern that you click on the link, and because she's like, you pick up stitches with the short tail, and I went, what? What? But anyway, so I'll be able to spit splice both of these to pick up stitches, but there's none anywhere, and it just surprisingly, I mean, because it's all wool and alpaca, the only thing that the cotton is just holding, it's just the casing that all that blown stuff is in, but it worked out beautifully, and you'd be real hard pressed to figure out where that was spit spliced, because it just really went together really well. So anyhow, that's
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
So she probably started it yesterday. I'm kidding. We like to give her a hard time.
I did not start it yesterday. I started it Saturday.
Wow.
Okay, well,
Yesterday was Monday, but honestly, I'm knitting it on a size 10 needle,
yeah.
and I've had some car time. We've had to go over to the rental property to do yard work, and just if we go somewhere shopping, whatever, any errands, I have taken it with me, and I'm just like knitting like a wild one in the car, because you don't, once you get to joining the sleeves,
Right.
and I start to say joining in the round, but once you get under the arm and you're knitting flat back and forth, there's no pattern to look at. You just keep
Knit,
going
knit, 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 knit.
until it's the right length, and then you do your ribbing, and anyway, fabulous. So I have one more whip, and it's a pair of socks that I'm knitting for a friend. So I don't know if you recall, in the middle of winter last year, I knit a beautiful colorwork hat for our friend Michael. And my intent was to turn around and knit something for Nick right away, and I didn't do it. And so I felt really, like a crappy friend for not doing that. So I wanted to knit him a hat, but he's got great hair and he doesn't wear hats. And then I was thinking a scarf or a cowl, but I needed it to I wanted it to be beautiful with really good yarn. And Michael said, he may not even wear a cowl or a scarf. And so we were sitting at dinner and, having a cocktail before dinner, talking about it. And I'm like, well, mittens? He's like, gloves. I went, no, I don't do fingers on gloves. That's too fiddly.
Yeah.
I'm not even making those for myself, as much as I love him. And Rick's like, oh, you can make him socks. Well, socks are kind of one of those things that, I have one other pair of socks on the go, so you think I'm a sock knitter. I'm really not a sock knitter, so I'm not good at it. I'm just trying to figure my way through what is the right size and style for me. But anyway, I said, okay, I'll knit socks. And so I am knitting socks, and I have got, this is a self-drafted pattern. Again, it's just a vanilla sock. I separated the yarn into 2 cakes, and they look very different holding them that way, but they're identical. And I am pulling from, I weighed one. How did I do that? I wound until I thought I had about half wound off, and I was pretty darn accurate with that. So this is Fibernuff Dye Works, and this is her Mountain Tweed BFL in the Bright Sea colorway. I think that's focusing, and I think it's just gorgeous. So here's how that colorway knits up. Very pretty. Oh my goodness. So I'm doing the cuff, the heels, and the toes in a different yarn. And this is Zen Yarn Garden Serenity 20. Oh, this is the yarn that I used in the top of this.
Oh, there you go.
There. I'm like, oh yeah, well, I'm wearing it. So this is see how light and dark that is? But here's how it knits up by itself. And then on the cuff, and then here's how it knits with mohair. But anyway, I'm doing the same. I really liked that short row heel that I found. I'm doing these as a 72 stitch, knit 4, purl 4. So they're very forgiving, very stretchy. So if they're a little big on his leg, it won't matter. I have started knitting the bottom of the foot, and I'm knitting that flat. So it's just stockinette on the bottom, and then the top is ribbing. But I'm barely...
Pretty.
The next stripe happens to be blue, so it's blending right in with
Nice.
the color. But yeah, so hopefully these will be car knitting or whatever. I don't feel like I have to get them done anytime soon, and I'm a little concerned that the green is too bright for him, but Rick said he loves the color, so if Nick isn't crazy about the color, if he thinks it's too bright for him, I'm totally good with giving them to Rick and trying it again, because I still have a different blue sock yarn and some other greens that are deeper, richer greens. And when he said he really liked green, that might be more of what he had in mind. But anyway, I don't know if you're watching, Nick, but you do get a choice. I'm not just going to make you take these. We'll keep trying till we get it right, so don't you worry. But that is it for whips.
Oh, yes. That was a lot of whips.
Yeah.
It is. We have a lot between the three of us. There's a lot of knitting going on.
Yeah, and there's stuff that I have that I didn't even bring because it's just sitting there right now.
Right. I did work on the Helia, but I'm not gonna show it. I got like a 1/2 inch done on the sleeve. It really has to be focused right now, you know, because it's that gorgeous, you know, from doing the,
Oh, yeah.
was it Fairy Bouquet? Yeah, you know
Fairy
what
Bouquet.
that is, yeah. So anyway, we've been reading your comments. We love your comments that you've left for us. So please keep those going.
Keep those coming. Let us know what you're working on.
Yeah.
Love to hear that.
Absolutely. If you're making gift knits, please tell us what you're working on, because, you know, I still have some more gifts to knit. And
So do I.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so do you have any yarn acquisitions?
No acquisitions. Not since Rhinebeck. Except you have some, right?
Yeah.
I have a few little things. So my son is expecting his first baby in February, and I had mentioned that a couple podcasts ago. And so I've been pretty excited about making some baby things. So I did go out, and one of our friends, thanks to one of our friends, she made this beautiful baby blanket called the Sampler Baby Blanket, and that's by Plymouth Yarn. And I really want to make that. I know I had already just made that one blanket, but I want to make a different one using some different yarn. And this beautiful color changing yarn by Karen Baby Cakes.
That's
And
a huge cake.
so it is a big cake. 249 grams.
Wow.
So,
That's a
so I
whole
want to
bunch.
make that with this. And then I did buy some other yarn, the Go Handmade Cozy. And the colorway on this is caramel.
Oh, that's pretty.
And so this is a cotton acrylic. And so I got enough to make a sweater, a little baby sweater with that. And I did buy some cotton yarn for another face cloth to gift. Oh, here it is. I love this cotton, and it's so incredibly soft. It'd be perfect for the face.
Yeah. So I knit a whole bunch of dishcloths in. I love this cotton.
Oh,
and
yeah.
the color of that has held up through washing and drying. Because I mean, I just throw them in with towels and wash them and dry them. And
I like that. It does feel really nice.
Yeah.
the colorway holds up better and looks nicer than the lily and cream. I feel like the lily and cream is a sturdier yarn, but the brighter colors fade in it faster in the wash than these do. But you're gonna love
So-
knitting with that.
Yes.
Have you
I think
done it?
so. It's so soft. I have knitted with this yarn before.
Okay.
And
Nice.
it is beautiful and soft. I've done with both actually.
Okay.
They're both really nice yarns.
So did you find that
So-
too, that it holds the color better?
I really haven't noticed
Okay.
on the colors, but
I knit actually some of them with leftovers from I Love This Cotton, striping it with the other, and that was where I think you could really feel the difference. It's like one feels coarse and the other feels very soft, and
Yeah.
then washing them, the softer one stayed brighter. And yeah, I might have used Tide that had the pods that had a little bleach in them or bright color brightener or something in it. And that might have been the reason that the color faded more in one of them than the other. I don't know.
I don't know. But yeah, those dishcloths and face cloths are just, people love them.
Yeah. Oh, really nice gifts.
And I do too.
Absolutely.
And free pattern like this, the blanket that I talked about and the face cloth, they're both free patterns. A lot of these dishcloths are free patterns
Yeah.
too. You can
Yeah.
get them on the Knit Pick site.
Huh.
Yeah, when when Janet first started learning to knit, she was going out and finding all these gorgeous
Yeah.
dishcloth patterns that were lace and cables and all kinds of things, and showing up a week later with one made or one half made, and I'm like, where did you even find that?
Yeah.
You newbie knitter, you. And she's like, oh, I found it out here on the Knitpicks website. Look at all these. And they were gorgeous. And she was doing, that's how she learned all to do all these fabulous stitches and patterns and things.
Right, and they're all on Ravelry. I mean, I don't know about the Knit Picks ones, but I think even those would be.
They probably
Ravelry
are.
seems to include everything.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah, you can
great. Ravelry is a great site.
Yeah.
It is. Very
All
much
right.
so.
Are you guys feeling thirsty? I'm a little
I
thirsty.
am.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you at the tasting table then.
Alrighty.
Welcome back. Today, well, you haven't really left.
We
did. So today's wine is the 2018 Sequim Cabernet Sauvignon from Kid Ranch Vineyard. And this is the wine that we had at a local wine dinner. And it was absolutely phenomenal. And the winemaker was actually in town. And it's more of a small production winery in Napa Valley.
Was that the Dirt Doctor?
This was the Dirt Doctor, yes.
Okay, so that was
So-
at Zink's.
Correct. And he does some fabulous wine. So people have been giving us, what their notes are on this, and basically it has a lot of dark chocolate, oaky, tobacco-y. The fruity notes are blackberry, black cherry, and it's very leather, minerals, and smoky. So people have been giving it a 4.5 rating, which is on this is 5.0 would be the highest. And so it's just
That's delicious.
nice wine.
It's a full, rich mouthfeel. It's very. You take a sip of it, and as it rolls back on your tongue, the flavor just bursts.
Yeah.
That is really, it's a lot of fruity.
Goodness.
Right.
Yeah, goodness. Yeah, it's delicious.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like a medium to bold. Really good with food.
Is it?
I would say like with a, you know, a steak, some sort of protein.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Any meat with a little bit of fat. It would
I
really
bet that would be good.
just kick it up a notch, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
It's delish.
Yummy.
Yeah, so good.
So he doesn't like being called the dirt doctor, but his education is in, it's not dirt. It's
Farming.
farming and,
Terroir.
yeah. Right. And he is like the master. He can go out and analyze all of that volcanic ash and, you know, the different bedrocks, because a lot of the Napa used to be underwater, and as they dig down, they find all those shells and, you know, the skeletal remains in this shale and all that. It's just, but he can analyze that and know exactly what kind of grapes are going to grow best in those areas. It was really interesting listening to him talk. But sequin is it's a dirt thing, isn't it?
I honestly don't know.
I feel like we didn't just buy sequin that day. Rick and I bought some of his wines as well, but we bought something else that
It
had.
was a limited. Yeah, well, they have variety. They have another one that was a mixture. It was like
A blend?
A blend.
Yeah.
Yes, a blend, and it was called Mixed, M-I-X-T.
Yeah, and that was the one that
And
had
that
the
was-
3 blocks on the front of it, like
Right.
burgundy and gold and something else.
And I think those were from 3 different soils, where they, you know, from the 3 different soils where they collected the grapes
were in
and
Yeah.
they made their
soils.
blend.
Oh, I bet that's really good.
So yes, so that was really good as well.
Well, sequin is definitely a dirt name. It's one of the layers or something of.
Right.
Does it say?
So
no, I've never. Well, I'm not a dirt person, so it's a part of an alluvial fan of Sulphur Creek. Well, hand farming. I'm not saying anything.
Yeah, delicious.
We'll have to look it up. We'll have
I
to
think-
Google it.
it's very limited quantity, so it's probably not as easy to just go out and buy it. But maybe on the internet. When I looked this one up, it said it wasn't available for purchase, but this was the 2018, so there may be a more recent
Right.
Yeah.
year that is available.
Or go to the winery itself,
Yes.
and I'm sure you can order it from them. Yeah,
Wow.
very
Anyway.
nice.
So delicious.
Yeah, makes my mouth water.
Yeah.
Thinking about steak.
Yes.
Well, thanks again for watching. And if
Yeah,
you haven't
thank you.
already, please like and subscribe. That helps the channel quite a bit. And if you haven't subscribed, please do, because we're just about ready to do another giveaway, maybe the next time we get together, because the numbers are growing a
Yes.
little, and we'll sew some bags and do some more bags maybe, and some yarn or markers. So we always have really terrific giveaways. So anyway, please do that, right?
Right.
In the meantime, if you can't be with the wine you love, love the wine you're with. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Yum.
Delicious. Thanks for bringing that one. That was really
Yeah,
scrumptious.
very good. Thank you.